Hiya and welcome to this week's episode of Inside Property Development, where we are going to be talking about probably my most favourite thing, and that is £1 option agreements. About what they are, how they work, and why I use them pretty much all the time to do my own deals and have done for many years. So and this is important, particularly when it comes to £1 option agreements, which are what most of mine are, because I know lots of people don't really understand it and think, well, that sounds like bullshit, really. How can you buy land for a pound or control it for a pound? Well, you absolutely can, and I'll show you and tell you exactly how and why. So, firstly, what are they? So, an option agreement, just in case you don't know, is just a type of legal agreement that gives you the option to do something, but beautifully not the obligation. Yeah, and I think it was John D. Rockefeller, the American industrialist at in the late 1800s, who I think might have actually been the world's first billionaire, famously said that you should control everything and own nothing. And the way you control things without owning them is through option agreements. And nearly about 30 odd years ago, I stumbled on a book about option agreements. Now, before then, I had been doing small deals, slowly building up to slightly bigger deals. But the size of the deals that I could do was effectively limited by how much money I had. Back in those days, you probably buy a house for 100 grand. Now, I'll buy a house for 100 grand, do it up, a bit of a wreck, sell it for 150 grand. Yeah, and make 30, 40 grand profit, whatever it might be, which was a lot of money there in those days. And then I'd do a slightly bigger one and a bigger one, and slowly doing bigger deals. But basically, the amount of money that I was making and the profit that I was taking out dictated what the next deal that I could do. So it kept me a little bit stuck, and I could only grow so fast. Then all of a sudden, one day, I stumbled upon a book about option agreements, which was a massive eye-opener. And so for the first time ever, I realised that I could control land. I could get an agreement to buy it, even if I didn't have enough money to buy it. And that element of control bought me time, effectively, where I could go away and do something, typically add value to the land, typically by getting planning permission. So that is the beauty of option agreements. They allow you to control things without having to buy them, and they buy you time. Yep. And amazingly as well, you don't have the obligation to do the deal if things change or you change your mind. Now, one of the beauties of that is certainly when it comes to property development, things can change, the market can change and all the rest of it. If I end up having an option on a deal and we get another 2008 and everything goes tits up, I don't want to be legally bound to do a deal that I no longer want to do. That's the beauty of option agreements. So that's how they work. Now, one of the questions I often get asked is, well, why would a landowner enter into an option agreement? Yeah, particularly a £1 option agreement. Now, bear in mind that the pound is not what you're buying their land for. The pound is just the legal consideration to make the contract, the option agreement. It's just a type of contract to make it valid. Yeah, and the reason a landowner would give you an option agreement is because, as always in any negotiation, right? You need to answer the question, well, what's in it for me, and what's in it for the landowner is you will be typically going away trying to add value to their asset without it costing them a penny. So from their point of view, there's no risk, but you just need that element of control that ensures that you can buy the land if you want to, if and when you choose to exercise the option. But of course, you don't have the obligation to do that if you don't want to. Now, of course, you don't tell them at the start that you might not do the deal if everything goes tits up. And also how you persuade them to enter into an option, is quite a key thing in terms of the negotiation. What you say, what you don't say. There are various answers to the sort of standard objections that get raised. But trust me, when you know how to do that stuff, landowners absolutely have no problem entering into option agreements. 95% of my deals to this day are option agreements, and the vast majority of those agreements are £1 option agreements. So these are absolutely doable, and then that's pretty much the way I've done all my deals for the last 30 years. Even if and when I can afford now to just go and slap money down and buy something outright, why would I if I can just control it with a bit of paper, with an option agreement? So that is the beauty of option agreements. That's why you use them. And the reason a landowner would be okay with an option agreement is, as I've mentioned, because you're adding value to the land. So typically, just to sort of make the point to it, to explain it, let's just say they've got, I don't know, a house with a big garden, or an old commercial building on a big plot. Who knows what it might be? And let's just say the existing use value of that thing is worth £1 million. Let's just say. But with your planning knowledge and expertise, and this is where planning knowledge and expertise and design knowledge and expertise become so important. If you know through your own knowledge and expertise that actually you could go away and get planning for something that would make it worth £2 million, then clearly there is a lot of potential upside in that deal. So just to make the numbers easy, in that scenario, you might approach the landowner, have a negotiation, and end up agreeing and getting an option to buy their land for £1.5 million. Now, from their point of view, it's worth £1 million as it is. They're into an agreement that means you potentially might buy it off of them for £1.5 million. So there's a big uplift in it for them. It doesn't cost them anything. They weren't thinking of selling. They were just sitting there doing what they were doing anyway. It's all your money, all your risk. They don't have to do anything other than sit back and wait and hopefully have the value of their property massively increase. Yeah, so that's it. So you get an option agreement, you go away, you get planning permission. The planning permission makes it worth £2 million. So that's your uplift. The landowner gets a 1.5. So they're happy because you've paid them significantly over and above the existing use value, and you get the rest of the planning uplift. So the name of the game in this business really is making the pie as big as possible, i.e. increasing the value as much as possible over and above the existing use value, and then how and in which way that pie gets divvied up between you and the landowner is basically a negotiation. So that is the crux of how it works. Now, the other beauty of option agreements is if you don't want to develop yourself, you can effectively sell on, assign your agreement to another buyer, and you never have to complete on the deal. You never have to buy the thing. As I say, you just assign it. And using that little example I just gave there, you effectively would be selling your bit of paper on for 500,000, i.e., and then the purchaser would go and complete on the deal at the 1.5. So overall, they paid £2 million. 1.5 of that's gone to the landowner. The other 500's come to you. Obviously, I've just made those numbers up to explain the point, but basically that's how it works. So 100% option agreements work all the time, including £1 option agreements, if and when you know the full mechanics of them and how to tee them up and negotiate them in the right way. But of course, an important part of this, you do need to be able to work out what the end value is going to be so that you can get, you know that you can negotiate and get the option agreement tied up at the right price. One of the things I've seen in the past is people that don't really know what they're doing. They find out about option agreements. They think, well, this is great. I can go and get, secure land even if I haven't got the money to buy it, but they get it secured at the wrong price. Yeah, so they're not good enough about knowing about planning and design and site constraints and scheme optimization and all of the other things we need to have to know about. So they can't put the right number on the land. They can't come up with the right price, and very often they get things agreed at too much. So yeah, look, given that scenario, it's easy. People are going to give you options to buy their land at 10 million quid all the time. But if the stuff's never going to be worth 10 million quid, all that's actually happening is you're wasting your time. So knowing how to maximise land values and come up with the right scheme and the right planning is a key part of the whole process. The option agreement is the legal mechanism you use to control the land, to buy you time to then go away and add planning value, but you still need to negotiate and work out what is the right price going to be. That's basically it. One of the other questions I quite often get asked by people is, well, how about once I've done all of that, the landowner changes their mind and they pull out the deal and they won't sell to me, etc. Well, I mean, it's just like you could say the same about when you're selling a house. You enter into a contract and then the landowner sells, the homeowner, whatever, changes their mind and they won't sell you the house. Well, they've entered into a legally binding contract. If that happens, you sue them and you win. Now, for me, in my whole career, 30 plus years using option agreements, that has never, ever, ever happened. I've never had a landowner get out of an option agreement. And in fact, I've never had a landowner even try to get out of an option agreement. So they're super safe as long as you negotiate them and register them in the right way. And a big part of that is also about what you say and what you don't say in terms of how you negotiate the option at an early stage to keep the relationship good and keep it all on track to make sure there's no chance that a landowner would ever try to renege on a deal. As I say, I've never ever had that, and even if they did, it's 100% legally binding contract anyway, as long as you've done it the right way. And of course, the beauty is also that you can sell them on, you can assign them if you want to. So that's £1 option agreements for you. Absolutely, in my opinion, the very, very best way to do land deals. Why wouldn't you? Even if you had billions of quid in the bank, why would you not control land with a pound if you could? So that's it. Option agreements are the way forward, in my opinion. Absolutely 100% doable. People that say they're not and they're all bullshit, because it sounds like bullshit, right? Controlling land with a pound sounds too good to be true. It's not. It's absolutely doable. I do it all the time. You just got to know how to do it. It is the way forward, in my opinion. In particular, it makes sure you don't have too much cash out all of the time, tied up, stuck in different deals. So from a cash flow point of view, it's brilliant as well. That's it. Hopefully that's explained option agreements to you and that's been of some use. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for tuning in to Inside Property Development. Please remember to like and subscribe. Do join us every week where we'll be speaking to house builders, developers, experts, planners, and everyone involved in trying to get more much needed housing created the right way. We'll learn together how we can collaborate rather than fight, and by working together we can all help create better places, spaces and homes, and a much more beautiful world.